What is the latest news on our November I-bond rate projection, buying I-bonds before the election, and gifting I-bonds? Hello, members, super savers, and bond course fans. I hope you're healthy and well. I'd hoped to get this video out sooner, but better late than never, right? Here are the 3 topics that we'll be covering in today's I-bond update video. 1. What is our most current November I-bond rate projection? And should you buy I-bonds before the election? 2. What else have we learned about Treasury Direct's gifting email over the past few days? And 3. What are our personal I-bond plans going forward? As usual, here's our front of video disclaimer. For a detailed disclaimer, please refer to the end of this video. Let's dive in now, folks. As our Diamond NestEgg regulars know, the Treasury does not share the secret formula of how they set the I-bond fixed rate with the public. Having said that, we think we may have cracked the secret code with a fair bit of detective work here at Diamond NestEgg, so to speak. Based on our analysis dating back over 2 decades, it does appear that since 2015, the Treasury has been following a distinct formula quite consistently. If we take 65% of the average daily real yield on the 5-year tips for the 6 months prior to the I-bond rate reset date, this, together with a bit of rounding, gets us most of the time exactly to the fixed rate that is then announced by the Treasury. If you're newer to our channel or need a refresher on how we came to this conclusion, check out these 2 I-bond fixed rate videos from earlier this year that I've linked below in the first pinned comment. So, assuming that the Treasury hasn't changed its approach in the meantime, let's calculate our projected I-bond fixed rate for this coming November. Here is the average daily real yield on the 5-year tips from May 1st, 2024 until close of market last Friday, October 25th, 2024. Multiply this by 65% and we get to a projected next I-bond fixed rate of 1.21%. This is lower than our previous projection for the I-bond fixed rate of 1.24%. But since the Treasury appears to always round to the closest tenth anyway, we still get to the same 1.2% as we did before. And this 1.2% is the fixed rate that I expect for all I-bonds that will be issued on or after November 1st, 2024. This is a bit lower than the current fixed rate of 1.3%, but remember, this should come as no surprise given that real yields on tips have gone down a bit over the past several months already. Now, let's move on to the projected I-bond inflation rate. Here we have the CPI-U all items number from September 2024. Divide this by the CPI-U all items number at the end of March 2024, the starting point, minus 1, and we get to this percentage change in CPI-U over the past 6 months. Multiply this by 2, and we get to an actual annualized I-bond inflation rate of 1.9%. And of course, let's not forget about what we at Diamond NestEgg refer to as the bump, the inflation adjustment on the fixed rate, which is basically these 2 numbers multiplied together. When we multiply the projected I-bond fixed rate and actual annualized I-bond inflation rate together, we get to a projected bump of about 0.02%. So, to get to our projected combined I-bond rate for November, let's add together our projected I-bond fixed rate, our actual I-bond inflation rate, and our projected I-bond bump. This results in a projected combined I-bond rate for November of 3.12%, which, as you can see, is significantly lower than the current rate of 4.28%. What this means is that if you're retired or about to retire and need some inflation protection in your portfolio, or if you're like us, and I-bonds serve a dual purpose in your overall portfolio as an inflation-protected emergency fund as well as inflation-protected retirement savings, it may make sense to purchase your I-bonds at the current still attractive rates before the November I-bond rate reset, given that our analysis to date indicates that the current I-bond fixed rate and the current I-bond inflation rate will likely be higher now than they will be after the November I-bond rate reset. Do also keep in mind that this current I-bond fixed rate of 1.3% is the highest I-bond fixed rate in more than a decade and a half. To say it again, the new I-bond rates will go into effect for all I-bonds issued on November 1st or later. So to still get the higher current rate here, you will need to make your I-bond purchase on October 31st, the very latest, because Treasury Direct needs at least one business day to process I-bond purchase orders. I generally even suggest adding in an extra day or so to be on the safe side in case anything glitches. If you buy your I-bonds on November 1st, you will not get this old rate. You will get the new, probably lower November I-bond rate. So, if you're tempted to still lock in the current attractive rates for the next 6 months, this means you need to put in your order this week, and ideally not on Thursday, October 31st, but a day or two earlier. And yes, for those of you who want to wait and see how the election goes before making any significant financial decisions, and you're not alone with this approach, a lot of professional investors are currently taking the same stance and sitting tight. This does mean you cannot do that if you want this current I-bond rate for the next 6 months. You'll need to make your decision this week before you know how the election goes. However, that said, the immediate impact of the election on I-bond rates should not be too high in the short term, so this might be a risk worth taking if you want this existing rate for the next 6 months. Everyone's financial journey is different. And if you are considering I-bonds, remember that the fixed rate on I-bonds is essentially equivalent to the real yield on TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. And at the time of this taping, the current as well as the projected I-bond fixed rates are lower than the real yields on the 5-year, 10-year, and 30-year TIPS, as you can see here, as they always will be as long as the Treasury seems to follow a reconstructed formula. TIPS, however, are less straightforward than I-bonds, and their complexity can sometimes be a deterrent for investors. As I always say, never buy what you don't understand. So, it may be useful to check out this video here first to see whether TIPS or I-bonds may be a better fit for you. Bond beginners, folks, please refer to Module 6 on TIPS in the course and Module 7 on I-bonds if you need a refresher on either. Now, let's move on to the next section of this video for those of you who are considering gifting I-bonds or who already have I-bonds sitting in your gift box. For those of you new to this topic, Treasury Direct recently emailed some folks who have purchased gift I-bonds for a loved one, which are still sitting in their own gift box and have not yet been delivered to the recipient. This Treasury Direct email told them to deliver those I-bonds to the recipient as soon as possible. When one of our members first reached out to me about this, there was quite a bit of confusion as to why some folks received this email and why some did not. And even more confusion as to what the next step should be, especially if the recipient of the gifted I-bond had already purchased their annual I-bond limit this year. So, as I shared in this recent live, we called Treasury Direct on Monday, October 21st to get to the bottom of this email. The representative with whom we spoke to, Billy, was professional and courteous, as Treasury Direct representatives usually are. And he confirmed that the email was being sent out in waves, and that's why some folks received this email while others didn't. And the reason for the email is because there are changes coming, but Billy didn't know what those changes were, meaning I also don't know what those changes are. Although some folks do have their own ideas, ranging from the phasing out of I-bond gifting to an increase in the annual purchase limit. In any case, I told Billy in our phone conversation that I had read through the electronic code of federal regulations, but that the delivery limit on gifting I-bonds and delivering those I-bonds to the recipient was a bit unclear, so I gave him the following scenario. If my husband has already purchased his annual limit of $10,000 for 2024, and I have $10,000 or more of gift I-bonds that I purchased for him sitting in my gift box right now, is Treasury Direct saying that I should deliver all those gift I-bonds to him now, this year, in 2024, and there will be no penalty, even though this delivery will put him way over the $10,000 purchase limit that he's already reached for this year? And Billy's answer was yes, deliver everything now. And no, there will be no penalty. Now, in this live that I shared before, I encouraged everyone who had received this gifting email to reach out directly to Treasury Direct to confirm for themselves and then decide on what next steps are comfortable and or suitable for them. And that's exactly what some of you did. And some of you got a different answer because, well, why have only one answer to a question, right? In any case, some of you were told that you should only deliver the gifted I-bonds to the recipient if that recipient had not purchased his or her annual limit of $10,000 for the year, the opposite of what I was told. And of course, some of you did get the same answer that I did, including David Enna of TipsWatch. And he got this additional confirmation from Treasury Direct Representative Vanessa, not Billy like in my case, as you can see here. And many thanks to our member Joseph, who forwarded me this article. This exchange that a TipsWatch reader had with Treasury Direct pretty much sums things up in my mind. Well, I had another call with Treasury Direct this morning. I explained my situation very clearly. My significant other and I each have 4 sets of I-bonds in gift boxes, each at $10,000 for a total of $40,000. I asked if there would be any repercussions if all of those gifts were delivered now. And the answer was no. It is perfectly acceptable to deliver all gift I-bonds now. The only restriction is that the recipient would not be able to make any further purchases this year. The reasoning given is that they're switching to a new system and want as many gifts delivered as possible before the switch. I've linked this article in the first pinned comment below as well for those of you who may want details. And for those of you who have received this email and are still having doubts as to what to do with all the I-bonds in your gift box, my advice here is to call Treasury Direct again if you wish and explain your situation very detailed and clearly. Our experience has been that the more precise and clear our questions are, the more likely it is that we get a clear answer from the representative who is answering our question, and who, as I said, I generally find always professional and courteous when I'm on the phone with them. And for those of you who've already called Treasury Direct about this gifting email, did you get the same response that we got about delivering all the gift I-bonds in your gift box without penalty and or repercussion, or did you get a different response? Drop a comment below and let everyone know. So, now that you know the latest on the Treasury Direct gifting email, let's move on to what we'll be doing with our own I-bonds next. Marcus and I have already maxed out our annual I-bond limit of $10,000 for this year, and we do have more gift I-bonds sitting in our gift box with each other as recipients. We're undecided at the moment on whether we'll be gifting one another anymore this year, but we are tempted by this nice fixed rate. I guess we'll have to decide in the next day or so. We haven't received the gifting email from Treasury Direct yet, but when we do, we will likely just deliver the gifts to one another, as we just discussed based on the feedback we got when I called Treasury Direct. And in case Treasury Direct surprises us positively on November 1st with an I-bond fixed rate that is significantly higher than our projected I-bond fixed rate of 1.2%, we'll just pick up more I-bonds in early 2025. What about you? What are your plans? Will you be buying more I-bonds for yourself or as gifts? Are you delivering all the gift I-bonds in your gift box to your recipients? Or are you going to stay put? Again, drop a comment below and let everyone know. All right, members, super savers, and bond course fans, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. And if you want to really get up to speed on bond investing and building out your bond portfolio before rates could potentially go down, then check out this video here on our 2024 bond courses. And if you're watching this video when it first came out, come join our live member Q&A happening immediately afterwards today, October 27th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, where we'll be diving deeper into all things fixed income. I've also linked all the details on our bond courses and YouTube Super Saver membership below this video for your convenience. Good luck to everyone who's planning on picking up or gifting some I-bonds this coming week. And see you again very soon with more brand new wealth building content for your financial journey.